Good afternoon, this is Media Center Ukraine Odessa, and we continue our work today. You can watch us online on our YouTube channel and on our Facebook page. Today is the Day of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and of course we cannot leave without attention this holiday, and in the next 30 minutes we will discuss the Armed Forces of Ukraine and the veterans of the war. Our speakers are Serhiy Hutsaliuk, serviceman representative of Veterans HUB ODESA, and Oleksandr Prymak, representative of the NGO Association of NATO Veterans South. I would like to congratulate you on the holiday, on this Day of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and I believe that now this is the key holiday of our country. I cannot, maybe I'm wrong when I say that this is a holiday. What does it mean for you? And first I would like to just congratulate everyone who are related to the Armed Forces of Ukraine. This is not only our servicemen and servicewomen, these are the families of our fighters and also the veterans and all those people who care about Ukraine. For me, as for a historian, it is symbolic that today's Day of the Armed Forces of Ukraine has like 3 holidays. This is the first time that when we celebrate the day of St. Nicholas on the 6th of November. And actually that was the day when the first winter campaign of the Ukrainian National Republic Army started in 1916, and it was ended on the 4th of May 1920 when we have the Infantry Day. So this is quite an interesting coincidence. And at the moment, there are like 3 days united in one holiday. And with the start of the war since 2014, the Day of the Armed Forces of Ukraine has been one of the main holidays of our state. And we can see the dramatic change to this day, because before 2014, not so many people celebrated the day, perhaps the servicemen and their families. We had a bit different day, that was the 24th of February, but since 2014 the situation has dramatically changed. Alexander, I'd like also to congratulate all servicemen and servicewomen who are defending our country at the moment. And also, I would like to congratulate volunteers who have been supporting the armed forces of Ukraine. And all those people who care, who support armed forces of Ukraine, who donate, who make their donations. And yesterday we had the International Volunteer Day, and now volunteers have focused on supporting the armed forces of Ukraine. And we should also mention chaplains here, because they supported us a lot when we were at the front line. This is a spiritual support and also kind of material support. They supported us with food kits, packages, and some people say that the armed forces of Ukraine are the whole country. Yes, and I believe that it should be so, especially during the war, during the aggression. And we should be together and we should do everything possible for our victory. And how could you assess the changes of Ukraine to the armed forces of Ukraine since 2014 and since the 24th of February 2022? So the armed forces of Ukraine had some other issues, and our state concept during Yanukovych's time was just to decrease the number of servicemen. That was not prestigious, and no one was interested in that, generally speaking. But with the invasion, with the annexation of Crimea, you have some water there. If you are watching us online, you can ask your questions or you can make comments. Just use the messenger that you can now see on your screen. You just need to scan the QR code and you can send our questions. With the beginning of the annexation was the beginning of this interference of Russia in our internal affairs. And after the full-scale invasion, we can see dramatic changes in the army. And Ukraine's people have joined the army, and army has increased, and we have young people there. And for a year and a half, we served together with my colleague and Oleksandr Prymak, and he was the commander of my unit, and then I became the commander of unit, and Mikhail Shtekel, your editor-in-chief, visited our positions, and we have seen with our own eyes all the changes, because Oleksandr served back in the Soviet army, and he can compare armies. I never served in the USSR because of the health condition and because of my age. I could serve there for like 2-3 years before the dissolving of the Soviet Union, but I had problems with my sight, and now it's not that important. And I can add a few words here. So Serhiy did not have any military experience, and he started as an ordinary soldier, and now he's an officer, and we can congratulate him on this. And I know that it took a while for Serhiy to just join the armed forces of Ukraine, that you just wanted that so much. Yeah, there were some issues why I couldn't serve back then. And with there were events in Odessa in 2014, so I had to settle some of the issues before I was able to join the army. And they had questions to my health condition, but now this is not important. You know, some experts say that no army of the world could have done more than the armed forces of Ukraine. Do you agree with this? I think that yes. We have grown up over the period and I think that we've learned everything about like foreign weapons, different types of weapons, and I'm still in contact with the guys who come from England, from Germany. And they are surprised that foreign instructors learn from our army. And all our combat experience is now overtaken by our international allies. And this is an exchange. This is not training, because our soldiers share their experience and they share with our soldiers their knowledge. And this will strengthen not only our army, but the general NATO army that we would like to join. Some people joke that after the victory of Ukraine, NATO will ask to join our army. So it would be great if it's so. But we will try to do our best. The Soviet element, we had it before 2014, to be honest. So both Russian officers, Russian military, and Ukrainian officers and military used Soviet manuals for military training. How it was changed in 2014? And is there still a Soviet element in the army? especially when it comes to the commander's decision. The army has a clear vertical structure, vertical hierarchy. And sometimes there are some situations when we can speak about Soviet heritage. But generally speaking, I have rarely seen such cases throughout my service. But you've seen some of them. How was it manifested? Sometimes there are requirements of military discipline, so you should be perfect in performing all laws of Ukraine and charters of the armed forces of Ukraine. There is the clear definition of this discipline. But sometimes people and sometimes we can see some people saying that they are ill, and of course there is a human factor. And there is this discipline, there is a charter. And I know something about a Soviet army, and I don't see such things. They say that there is still such things in the Russian army, because this is the army of empire. And they have something national thing of nationality. And the age. And we can see that these problems they're challenging now in Ukraine. The army reflects the society. And we can see that our army is expanding, and we can see that people sometimes say that this is still Soviet heritage. We can consider every situation case by case basis. I have rarely seen such things when it comes to chief commanders. On the contrary, I have never seen any Soviet heritage. I served both in the Soviet army, and I have experience in the Ukrainian army, and I can see a significant difference. And this is when it's about interaction of the manpower and their command. In the Soviet Union, once I read that all soldiers of Israeli army can address to the commanders of regiments, and we have such things now. With the permission of our supervisor, we can just address a commander of a regiment, of a brigade, and to speak with them at the same level, and this is our advantage. What about our enemy? Does our enemy have the same approach and strategy? They learn from us. And we have the system of the psychological support, and it is different. They used to have the representatives of the political party in the Soviet time, and now we have the chaplain system that has been evolving since 2014, and chaplains are official officers of the chaplain service. That's why when a person faces some issues, they can solve this issue with the moral support, with the mental and psychological support, and they also can ask for help from chaplains. There are hotlines, and any serviceman can call with different problems that are somehow not solved, or the process is delayed, and they can be sure to get feedback. In all NATO, all these elements of what NATO countries have been implemented in Ukraine. We have a lot of veterans, including veterans of ATO. How the state has been supporting veteran movement, because we remember for example, that very often the state forgot about Afghani veterans. How does the state care about our veterans? We have the whole ministry dealing with that. This is the Ministry of Veteran Affairs, headed by Yulia Laputina, who has been in Odessa several times. And we could talk to her peer to peer. And we can solve issues, so we can ask questions. And so these problems can be redirected to responsible structures or units, and this is really very helpful. When I just retired in 2017 because of the age, and we just created the NGO just to improve the situation with veterans. And so there were some issues which were not settled, and the members of our NGO tried to support themselves. Could you make examples? That was, for example, with the declaration of land plots. When there were the veterans from rural areas, communities just provided land plots, but that was not the case for towns, for example. And this is one of the aspects, the issues related to land. And also, the certificates were not issued. And when there are some benefits envisaged by the state, but when you show the documents proving that you're a veteran, for example, in public transport, somehow it doesn't work. So there are some issues to be settled, to be solved, and now we are facing the full-scale invasion. And this is not our main focus now, not our priority. But after our soldiers come back home, we will see these issues again. Before the full-scale invasion, the number of soldiers, of veterans of the war that started in 2014 was quite significant, but it is not as large as we can see now, and the war is not over yet. And veterans will need support from the state, especially those who have mental and physical traumas, because perhaps all people at the front line have this mental trauma. And I think that the same can be said about civilians, because if they are in the at the home front, but if they at least once were under shelling, they also have mental traumas at different level. After the victory, we will see huge challenge with rehabilitation of people at the mental and physical level. And I can say that it will be difficult for the state to cope. That's why we have self-governing bodies, NGOs. And for example, when it comes to our Odessa region, only this year has seen opening several veteran spaces where different types of support is provided, like in Dobroslav, the Veteran Hub, and recently in Odessa, following the initiative of the Municipal Council. And it's really great that they used the experience of our NGO, Veterans HUB ODESA, that was established in 2019.
Інколи там можуть сказати, а що це там так багато цих хабів створено, все інше. А ви, друзі, просто не уявляєте, як
And it is you cannot imagine the amount of people who already referred to us, and we will have even more people after the war, after the victory. And so people want to get legal advice, mental support, and this is the biggest need. People who are wounded, who cannot continue serving in the armed forces of Ukraine, they find these units, these spaces, and I know because they have referred to our Veterans Hub, and a lot of people just get support thanks to different international foundations and different international programs of our allies, and also local authorities allocate fund for that, like Veteran Hub. But there was a negative case. The Veteran Hub opened in Dobroslav several years ago, now faces criminal proceedings for improper use of funds. But we know that the village council did not allocate any funds for that hub. So there were claims of people, and that was from the head of the community or from the village, and actually there are some other criminal proceedings. And some people just don't understand the stand where they live. How would you assess the rehabilitation process for veterans? Oleksandr, you're a witness. In our organization, we have Gestalt therapist, and we have regular meetings of veterans, and I also participate in these meetings.
Зараз уже приходять хлопці, які з пораненням на реабілітацію, приходять до нас просто на спілкування.
And also those soldiers who undergo rehabilitation, they can come to our meeting and discuss something at the peer-to-peer level. It is very important for mental counselor, mental therapist to be retired soldier, because it is easier to establish contacts with veterans. because they can see that a person who tries to help is also a veteran and has good understanding of their problems, and this is really very important. And I can add here about rehabilitation. There is a group of psychologists, and in our NGOs, they provide mental support.
Ще є такий цікавий проєкт, це
There is also a very interesting project, which is local tourism.
був теплий час, я знаю, дуже
When it was warm, almost every weekend, the veterans and the members of their families and also the families of fallen heroes participated in that, and we should support that category of as well. And so there were some visits to historical or natural places in the Odessa region, like Ektov Canyon, Mejia, and also they are supported by psychologists, and they have training. And also we all the time provide legal consultation. We provide legal advice. We have Artem Kartashov with us and Anastasia Boyko. They are lawyers who have their own work, but they find time to support veterans and their families. For example, to get the certificate of the participants of military activity, how to get pensions or some other payments after injury. But we have a lot of people. We constantly cooperate with Mr. Starozhuk, representative of the Veterans Ministry, and this person is also a colonel of the Operative Command South, and he was retired from there, so that's why he has a good reputation among veterans, and he's a very energetic person. Here in Odessa, we can solve different issues, and he cooperates with different healthcare centers. And yesterday we had him during briefing, and he told yesterday that at the moment there is no modern rehabilitation center. And there is the premises of the former eyesight hospital that was renovated with the support of the Ministry of Defense of the United States. And that would be really great if we can use that hospital, because we'll have a lot of people with problems, and the youngest soldiers are of 18, 19 years. Thank you very much for joining us today. I would like to congratulate you once again on this Day of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and we will continue at 1 p.m. Thank you.